Day 2 of training camp is in the books. Let's talk about it.
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Breece Hall inside the 10. He's gonna score!
Boys and girls, welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be recapping Day 2 of the training camp of the New York Jets. Obviously, we're one of the first teams back in practice because we have the Hall of Fame game. And today we finally got to see the guys out there in jerseys and in helmets running some drills, doing some contact stuff. No pads on yet, but very, very exciting stuff. We got to hear from a lot of people today. We got to hear from Coach Saleh today, which was awesome. Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, and Allen Lazard. And while I thought that the press conferences today were kind of unspectacular, I did take some things away from it. Number one, I really liked hearing that Garrett Wilson in the offseason was working at becoming a better wide receiver, but not just by running wide receiver drills, but by playing basketball and by doing those things. And I think that's great. I think those skills do translate. And one of the things that I thought was the best aspect of Garrett Wilson's game last year was his explosiveness off the line. And to hear that that was one of the things that he was working on, absolutely fantastic. Another thing that stood out to me is just how easily Aaron Rodgers is taking advantage of the New York media and kind of has those guys eating out of his hands when it comes to the comments and some of the things that he has been saying. The big thing that stuck out to me was when Connor asked him a question, he stopped and said congratulations, talking about, you know, the new home, the new baby, all of that stuff, which is great. It's a good way of ingratiating yourself to the media and making sure making sure that these guys can't get to him. And one of the things that I think that he said is that he gets less triggered now that he's an older man, which is very, very good because obviously in the New York media, it is super volatile, aka Rich Cimini. And anytime he writes anything, do yourself a favor, just don't read anything from Rich Cimini. It's never a good article. But I also liked what we heard from Robert Saleh talking about, hey, sometimes a change of scenery for Denzel Mims is a good thing. Seeing Breece out there on the PUP list and all of that stuff. Some of the things that stood out to me from the guys in pads was that Zach Kuntz and Jeremy Ruckert are absolutely taking advantage of the opportunity set in front of them with CJ Uzomah out on the PUP list. The same can be said about guys like Billy Turner, Max Mitchell, and Mekhi Becton doing their absolute darndest with Dwayne Brown on the PUP list right now to make sure that they get their job and get a spot and they're working out. But I think the biggest piece of news that came out of today and training camp was that Breece Hall was on the field doing solo drills. He is not with the team yet, but a trainer clocked him at 23 miles per hour when doing when he was doing his drills, obviously with no one touching him, doing anything like that, rebuilding the confidence and the stability in the knee. And while I am super nervous about this idea of rushing Breece Hall back, we got some clarification regarding that with Robert Saleh talking about, hey, it's always a good idea to get good players when asked about Dalvin Cook. And I love the idea about that. Dalvin Cook, while not the player that he used to be before, still one hell of a player, still good enough to play football in this league, and is a great stopgap in this moment where we don't know when Breece Hall is going to be 100%. But Michael Carter got a good chunk of the snaps today. But I think the biggest takeaway for me today, I said this already, but I just remembered this point, is the fact that what good quarterback play does for the rest of the offense. And this isn't me trying to take shots at Zach Wilson. Everything with Zach Wilson is mental. He's got all the skills to do it. He's just got to get his mind right and in the game in the right way. But Aaron Rodgers, from a lot of the reports that I saw today, had a relatively unspectacular day, which is fine. The thing that he brought that we just didn't get from the guys that we had before in the last couple of years was he wasn't bad. And that's it. He was just average. And the reality is that what Aaron Rodgers brings to this football team is veteran leadership and the ability to play like an elite quarterback, right? He has that ceiling of elite quarterback play. No doubt about it. But the other thing that he brings is stability, because even on his worst day, Aaron Rodgers is still a top 15 quarterback. On his worst day, he's still better than most of the NFL. And that is something that, like, we don't realize that, like, we're missing out on something like that. And that's really what I think makes Aaron Rodgers an elite quarterback. Everybody else around him gets elevated because they know that no matter what, the problem isn't going to be the quarterback. If there's something wrong, it's coming from somewhere else. And that's a really, really cool thing to know that you're getting from your football team. Let me know what you guys think about the second day of training camp. We're going to keep doing these recaps, and if any new news come out, what are you guys thinking in the comment section below? And last but not least, go Jets.